10 psychological tricks people use without realizing, and how they affect you. Have you ever walked away from a conversation and thought, why did I agree to that? Or maybe you felt oddly drawn to someone even though you barely knew them. The truth is, people constantly use psychological tricks, often without even realizing it, that can deeply influence your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. These subtle behaviors are rooted in well-researched psychological principles, and they work because they target the subconscious parts of our brains. In this article, we'll uncover 10 psychological tricks people use without realizing and how each one affects you more than you think. As you read through this list, you'll start recognizing them in everyday life, and even in your own behavior. Let's dive in. 1. Mirroring body language. One of the most powerful psychological tricks people use subconsciously is mirroring. When someone copies your body posture, gestures, or speech patterns, they are subconsciously trying to build rapport and make you feel comfortable. This behavior is often used in interviews, first dates, and sales conversations. How it affects you: you begin to feel an unspoken connection or sense of trust. Mirroring creates an illusion of similarity, which makes people more likable and persuasive. The next time someone subtly mirrors your movements, you might find yourself agreeing with them more than you usually would. 2. The power of pausing. People often use silence to their advantage, especially during negotiation or serious conversations. A well-placed pause after making a point or asking a question can increase pressure and make others reveal more than they intended. How it affects you: you may feel a need to fill the silence, often disclosing information or giving in to demands you otherwise wouldn't. Your brain interprets silence as discomfort, prompting a quick resolution, often to the other person's benefit. 3. Name dropping or repeating your name. Ever notice how some people keep using your name in conversation? This isn't just polite, it's psychological. People are hardwired to respond to their own name with increased attention and positive emotion. How it affects you: when someone uses your name often, you feel more acknowledged, validated, and connected to them. It's a subtle way of reinforcing closeness, which can make their message more persuasive. 4. The foot in the door technique. This involves asking for a small favor to increase the likelihood that you'll agree to a larger request later. For example, someone may ask you to sign a petition and later request a donation. Because you already said yes once, your brain is more likely to keep saying yes, to maintain consistency. How it affects you: you may end up agreeing to something you normally wouldn't just to stay consistent with your previous action. This is often used in marketing, politics, and social movements. 5. Creating urgency or scarcity. You have only 24 hours left, or only 2 items remaining. These statements trigger a psychological response based on scarcity. People value things more when they believe they're rare or time-sensitive. How it affects you: your decision-making becomes more impulsive. You may buy something or commit to an offer quickly to avoid missing out, even if you don't actually need it. Scarcity hijacks logical thinking and creates urgency. 6. Using the power of touch. A light tap on the shoulder, a handshake, or a gentle pat on the back. Touch communicates empathy and influence, even if the person doesn't realize they're doing it. How it affects you: even a brief touch can make someone seem more trustworthy or confident. In fact, studies show people are more likely to comply with requests when they're gently touched, like when a waiter places a hand on a diner's shoulder while suggesting a dessert. 7. Framing and word choice. How something is phrased drastically affects how it's perceived. Saying 90% fat-free feels more positive than 10% fat, even though both are the same. People subconsciously frame their words to influence emotions and decisions. How it affects you: you might feel swayed toward a decision without realizing it simply because of how it was presented. Politicians, advertisers, and even friends use framing to shape your perspective. 8. The illusion of choice. Sometimes people give you multiple options, all leading to the outcome they want. For example, a parent might ask a child, "Do you want broccoli or carrots?" The child feels empowered, but the outcome, eating vegetables, was never up for debate. How it affects you: you feel in control while actually being guided toward a pre-planned conclusion. This trick is especially common in leadership, parenting, and sales. 9. Nonverbal dominance signals. Posture, eye contact, and tone of voice all influence perceived authority. People who take up more space, make direct eye contact, or speak slowly and clearly often gain control of the interaction, even without meaning to. How it affects you: you may unconsciously submit or defer to someone who exudes authority nonverbally. Your brain associates their confidence with competence, making their ideas seem more valid. 10. The halo effect. When someone excels in one area, we tend to assume they're good at everything else too. For instance, if someone is attractive or well-dressed, we might also think they're intelligent, kind, or trustworthy, even if we've just met them. How it affects you, your judgment becomes biased. You might overestimate someone's capabilities or trustworthiness based on a single trait, making you more susceptible to manipulation. Final thoughts. The mind is a fascinating playground, constantly influenced, often without your awareness. These 10 psychological tricks people use without realizing are not just theoretical. They're playing out in your daily life, whether at work, home, or even during a casual chat with a friend. Understanding these tactics gives you the power to recognize influence, defend against manipulation, and become more intentional in your own communication. You don't need a degree in psychology to navigate social interactions like a pro. You just need awareness. So the next time someone mirrors your body language, repeats your name, or pauses just a little too long, pay attention. They might not even know they're doing it, but now you do.